Hey guys, hey, this is your girl GG. Welcome back to Queen Star Libra. So this channel is for any and everybody with Libra placements, or even if you're not and you're dealing with somebody with a Libra placement, come and get some information, okay? And for all of my new subscribers, be sure to make sure that you subscribe, you like, share, and comment. And all of my returning viewers, subscribers, make sure that y'all like, comment, and share the page. Okay? So today we are going to be talking about like the shadow side of like self-sabotage and where it could have stemmed from and how you can go about identifying it and learning how to basically get it together. You understand what I'm saying? Just get it all together. And just little telltale traits of, things that could have happened in your life, maybe things that happened in your childhood that you completely just subconsciously just got it so deep down buried that you don't even realize it anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna go and say, self-sabotage is something that can definitely stem from childhood. It could stem from teenage years, adult years, and whatever. I have literally been, I used to call myself once upon a time the queen of self-sabotage. Like, I used to literally sit there and watch me sabotage myself. That's how you know it's bad. When you can sit there and look at yourself, sabotage yourself, you know it's bad. But from my point of view, my perspective, mine started as a child. When you are in a family that is pretty big, you don't really have, you have a lot of siblings, so not a lot of attention is going around and stuff like that. And and I have a younger sibling, and he basically got all the attention. You know what I'm saying? And especially from like my mom and stuff like that. So I was always told, you have to wait for what you want because his needs were more. When you grow up with a mother who put, sons before a daughter, it can kind of create this dynamic of, growing up like I have to put other people before me because my needs aren't as important as other people. You know what I'm saying? So it was always like you have to go without, you have to wait, they deserve this before you, they're more important and stuff like that. So that was just one thing, and it can also put you in that people pleasing mode because it's like, somebody might need something, but you need something more, but because they need it and you're such a self sabotager and you don't know your self worth and you put everybody else before you, so you take with your needs and you push your needs to the back and you push everybody else's needs to the front, which is wrong. Like, you should always put your needs to the front. Always put your needs to the front. And if other people have a problem with you putting you first, then that's a them problem. It's not a you problem, and they need to go and fix their own situation. Okay? Be like, listen, I'm gonna put myself first, and if you got a problem with me taking care of me first and foremost, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why do you have this problem? Okay, because baby, that's not what it is, and it's not going to be what it is. Okay, so definitely with me, um, I grew up with a narcissistic stepfather. So it was basically, and he's still that way. Everything to him is stupid. Everything to him is dumb. Everybody is stupid. Nobody knows what they're talking about. But then he don't even know what he's talking about and stuff like that. So it's like he's very flip floppy. One minute he talks shit about you and the things that you do, and he want to criticize, and then the next day, he want to be like the helper, and all of this other stuff. We're going to get into that one. We're going to get into that one. So, definitely as a child, I was always, that's how I was raised. But my mother was like, you know, you have to wait. Your needs aren't as important, so you put other people's needs before yours. So basically, you sabotage yourself and your needs because you want to please or you want to do for others when you should be doing for yourself. But as a kid, as a child, we don't know that, right? We only know what we're being taught, what we're being told, you know, and that's just it. So, especially I remember, and when you grow up with a masculine, a masculine, you know, masculine females, I want to say. None of my sisters or my mother taught me anything about femininity, goddess like energy, empress energy, self-care, like nurture yourself, pamper yourself, and stuff like that. It was very masculine, like work, 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 chase it, chase it, chase it, get it, get it, get it. If it's not if you're not fighting for it, if you're not chasing it, if you're not, working yourself day in and day out, then, all that toxic stuff right there, right? So when you grow up with masculine females, um, and mind you, I'm the youngest out of my sisters, so they all are older than me. So now I'm surrounded by the boys. I'm surrounded by the boys. I'm the only girl smack in the middle of boys. So it's like now I have masculine sisters, and then I have my brother. So I'm surrounded by masculinity. So naturally, I just became like the tomboy, right? The tomboy. I wanted to hang out with the boys. I really, I had friends that were girls in school, but because of my own insecurities growing up and stuff like that, and not being told like, hey, you're beautiful, you're this, love yourself, and all this other stuff, I was basically raised to like people please and stuff like that. So I didn't have the self confidence and stuff like that from young when it came to me because I didn't know anything about that. It wasn't installed in me to have these things. And when you grow up with stuff like that, right? When you grow up with, low self esteem and stuff like that, it's basically your job to find that within yourself and find it for yourself and to create that for yourself. So people, like I said, everybody in here serves a certain purpose for people's lives. You know what I'm saying? I can look at my mother and see traits of her and me. And sometimes I just like, ew, that is so disgusting. And sometimes I can sit back and actually laugh at it and be like, wow, we're pretty similar. Like we have similar traits and stuff like that. And like I said, everybody serves a purpose. So when you have those negative people that's always downing you and always beating you down and talking shit about you and making you feel less than, like they're doing a job. You understand what I'm saying? Their job is to knock you down so you can find the power and the strength and the love within you to build yourself up. You understand what I'm saying? So their job is to tell you you ain't shit, that you're never going to thrive so that you can find the power and the possession in you to overcome that and thrive to be the person that you desire to be. So when somebody sit there and talk about your look, say, oh, you're not beautiful enough, it's your job to look at yourself and say, no, I am beautiful. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. And that's when you go into all your self-love and loving you and appreciating you for who you are and how you look and what you possess within yourself. It's not other people's job to love you. It's your job to love you. But they're going to love you because you love you. But if you don't love you, they're not going to love you because they don't know how. Because you don't even know how. You understand what I'm saying? It's like two people in class that's doing a math test, but none of y'all know math. Like none of y'all know subtraction, multiplication, addition, like times. Like none of y'all know nothing. But y'all want to sit there and help each other fail. That's what y'all doing. Y'all helping each other fail. And it's Like reading a book. If you don't know how to read, you can't teach me how to read because you don't even know how to read. So how you gonna teach somebody something that you don't even know? Like, come on, like you gotta get with the program. It's like I'm gonna need you to take some classes, maybe get a tutor, take an after school program. I don't know what you gotta do, but you need to learn how to read before you come to me and try to read me a book because I don't have time for all your stutters and all your trying to pronunciate and sounding it out like we in first grade. No, we're not. We're in high school, baby. How did you get this far? um, so so when it came to me, and like I said, mine started young. I, grew up, very masculine with masculine females, and then I have my brothers and stuff like that. So I was never told about femininity and being in your goddess energy and allowing things. I was always told to be in my masculine energy and work, get it, go for it. Like you gotta work hard, you gotta work multiple jobs. That's what you gotta do, and all this other stuff. Like you gotta be the provider for yourself. You gotta do this. You gotta hold it down. You gotta do that, and that's what I just basically embodied. And like I said, growing up with my lack of self-esteem and stuff like that, due to people commenting on my looks, my weight, my skin complexion, my hair, just making me feel less thin. And this was even happening in my own household. So I know a lot of y'all have had this in your own household where people talk about your looks, your weight, your skin complexion, and your academic skills and all this other stuff. So I know some of y'all have been through that. And like I said, in norm, it starts at home. Everything starts at home. Like racism, it starts in the house. Children aren't born racist; they're taught to be racist. Um, so like I said, that started in the house. So I didn't have all of that. And the needs and the things that I needed and the love, the attention and stuff like that I needed, I didn't get. I didn't get that from my own household. I didn't. And um, so that carried on in school. So I became very shy, very timid. I was always anxious. I was always nervous. I was always on like the brink of like crying and breaking down and stuff like that. Because a lot of things would get put on me and blamed on me. I wasn't sticking up for myself. I wasn't defending myself. I would just let people walk all over me because I wasn't taught how to stand up and defend yourself and to all this other stuff. It was always put other people, like put people first, and then after a while my mother was like, oh, don't let nobody talk crazy to you, don't let nobody to do this to you, but the damage has already been done because it's been so long that this has been going on and nothing. So, like I said, in school I was bullied by boys, and I never understood guys that bullied girls. Like, what's the point? And then I remember one lady, my mom's friend, she was like, well, if guys bully you, that means that they like you. And I'm just like, yeah, no. So, um, so, like I said, I started to just become people pleaser. I wanted to be friends with, like, me, I was the type of person in school, like, if you were new in school and you was in my class, I wanted to be your friend. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to show you around and all of that stuff because that's naturally how I am. I'm a very inviting person. I want you to, in my presence, in my energy, in my company, I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel like you can talk to me about anything. I want you to feel open because that's how I want to feel around you. Um, and going through elementary school, that was always something. Like in my household, my grades were my grades was bad, or if I had to go to summer school, it was always like and it was always from my stepfather. It was always like you're not smart, you're dumb, you're an idiot, and all this other stuff. So when you start to hear these words repetitively as a kid, you start to think that, and that's the energy you start to become because you start to put a energy onto a title onto an energy, right? You put a title onto an energy and you say, this is who I am. I'm not smart. I'm not beautiful. I am this. I am that. And this, and you start to, devalue yourself because other people are devaluing you, but then you have nobody that's on your side to back you up and say, no, you are beautiful. You are smart. You are this. You are that. You have nobody to counteract that and give you that love. Like when my stepfather would say shit to me, my mother would always just say, well, you know how he is, or just let it go. Don't pay attention to it. But it's like, how, when I'm a kid and this is something that's repetitively happening and you're not defending me? It's like you're not saving me. You're not helping me. And as a kid, that's what you want, right? As a kid, you want your parent to defend you. As a kid, you want your parents to fight for you and stuff like that because it's like, I can't fight for myself. And if push comes to shove, you're going to fight for him with him. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm going to be the bad guy, and then for defending myself, and then I'm going to get in trouble and stuff like that. But it's like you don't see how it's hurting me. But because you're so hurt and you're so codependent, you don't even see how it's hurting you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the dynamic. If you ever grew up in like a narcissistic, codependent type of household, then you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the parent and stuff like that, and the enablers and all this stuff. And I remember one time I was in school. And my older sister had lived with me, and she had these boots. They were shoe boots and stuff like that. And I think I had on stockings. I had on a nice skirt, a nice top. Like, girl, I was cute. I went and I put on my sister's shoe boots, and that was the first time I actually felt, very feminine, very girly. And I was gonna go to school and be cute now, or be cute with these shoe boots and stuff like that. They was like squared. She got them from Payless and stuff like that. They was like these squared, like these chunky shoe boots, square heel chunky shoe boots and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm 12. I'm like, I'm 12. I'm almost 13. Like, let me get into that feminine, type of thing. And my mother was just like, no, take them shoes off. Do this, do this. Like, it's not happening. You're not going to be out there girly and cute with these shoes. And no, it's not. So then that's when I became really like sad because it's like, I want to be a girl. Like, I want to be cute. And I can't be a girl, I can't be cute. And it was just like, and come to find out, my mother had a thing with heels because it's like, I can't walk in heels, I can't wear these shoes. And she would always, like, talk about shoes and stuff like that. So I think that's when that came in, that, like, the tomboy thing, because it's like, well, if I can't, be full female and be in shoes and stuff like that, then I'm just going to be in my jeans and my sweatpants, and that's just going to be it. And that was comfortable. It was comfortable to them because they didn't have to go out and spend all this money on, me being girly and me always wanting to be like kept up and my nails done and getting into makeup and stuff like that. So it wasn't like this financial thing on them. So accomplishment on their half, right? Accomplishment when it comes to, me self-sabotaging who I am, the person who I known to be, who I want to be somebody that they wanted me to be, right? Accomplishment on their half. And then, growing up in my household, it was always something with my looks, right? It was like, if I had my hair out, it was go get your hair done. If I had my hair done, it was wear your natural hair. If I wore sneakers, like I liked the high top sneakers. It was like high top sneakers is for boys. Then I get low top sneakers. It's like, oh, those low top sneakers make your feet look big. And it was always something contradicting when it came to me and my household, which made me, which made me, sabotage my self-esteem and my self-worth even more because it was always something, it was always something against me. It was always even this, and if I did this, then they will flip it and be like, no, that. So that was just that energy. So like I said, most of y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, right? And then, definitely going into like, the rest of junior high school and stuff like that, like super pushover, super nice, super, I wanted to be friends with everybody. And I think in elementary school, my codependency and fear of abandonment started happening, which was like, if if my friends were off in a corner talking, I would get such anxiety that they were talking about me, that they didn't want to be my friend, that I would try even harder to be their friend and even harder to please them and stuff like that. It's like I didn't want to feel left out. Like I didn't want to feel lonely, because that's already how I felt in my home. So it's like I'm in school. I don't want to feel like that in school with my friends, of course. So what I would do, I would sabotage my own self to please them and everything like that. Like I said, it all starts in the house. Everything all trickles down, right? And that continue on through elementary. It started in elementary. It really amplified in junior high and high school. Well, junior high, I want to say, it really amplified in junior high school, where to be the point of, you know, I would hold on so tight to my friends that I didn't want to let go. Like, they would talk shit about me and everything like that, and I would still be their friend. I would still laugh at them. I would still hang out with them and stuff like that. And it just created this 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 cycle. I would always try to pretend that I was something that I wasn't and stuff like that, just to fit in with them and stuff like that. So I wasn't being true to myself and anything like that. Like, and that's when the bullying intensified and all this other stuff. And like I said, I'm the one, I can admit I was a bully. The bullied sometimes become the bully. You know what I'm saying? Like, the ones that get bullied sometimes go on to bully other people, because it's like, I have control issues. I like to be in control of people when it comes to me and my energy and who's around me. So I have to control that. I have to be able to control it. If I can't control it and I lose control, everything falls into shambles. I'm an emotional wreck, and that's that. And so I had to learn how to balance that energy. Um, so once you learn how to balance that energy, and really work through the telltale signs, and especially if you have children, and you're seeing telltale signs of them being bullied or being a bully, or just you're dealing with somebody, or if you see or if you hear people talking down to them and stuff like that, that's your job as a parent to jump in and and stop all of that. Let your child know, like, I'm here, but when you get older, you're going to have to do this for yourself. Like, I'm always going to be here and be by your side, but as you get older, you're going to have to start defending yourself. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to speak up. Let it be known how you feel. And if other people don't like it, then oh well. So that's something that you just have to, constantly reassure your kids. Like, it's a fine line between standing up and defending yourself and just being flat out disrespectful. you know. And like I said, as I got older, you know, I've always known my path as a teenager and stuff like that. I always known like this is what I was going to be doing, and everything like that. And I'm grateful that God has shown it to me at such at the age of 14. Like, I was speaking, like I was on Facebook writing things and stuff like that that I didn't even experience in this life, but um I knew I had a higher purpose. I knew I had a higher mission in life, when it wasn't just working. But I was so caught up in, still going through my self-esteem issues and my confidence issues and stuff like that, and people pleasing and stuff like that, that everything was just tangled up. I became pretty much like the loner, the introvert, and everything else. And as I got older, I started, really, hanging out with my friends. And, I had about like two friends. And one of them, we would hang out all the time. I would go to his house and all this other stuff. And I remember one time I was at his house, which was like walking distance was probably like a good 20 minutes, 25, pushing 30 if I was just like taking my time, but like a good 20 minutes if I was like really rushing. And I remember I was at his house and my mother called me. She called me to come home and get him some food. Think about that. She called me, who's 25 minutes away, to come home to get her husband some food from a store that was literally across the street. But because he didn't want to do it, I had to stop what I was doing. I had to stop hanging out with my friends and come home to get somebody. So now, just imagine this. The store is directly across the street. By the time I get to from my friend's house back home, you're already in the house halfway done with your food. So now you have to wait until I leave to come home to go to the store, get your food, wait for them to wait for them to make it and stuff like that, to come home and to give it to you so you can eat when you can just get up and go to the store by yourself. I felt some type of way, and when I tell her about it, it was like it just went right over her head. So that's when my rebelliousness started to come out, because it's like, no, I'm not doing it no more. So I started to become more rebellious. So when she would give me a certain curfew, I would come in after that curfew, because I felt like, once again, you're not going to tell me what to do and all of this other stuff. My problems with authority came in full force as a teenager. Like, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not coming in at this time. Leave me alone. That's what it was. Like, that was my act. That was my act out, because it was like when you grow up with a mother and she is team her sons, and her sons are like her shining stars and stuff like that. It's different when it's like the boys get away with any and everything, and then the girls, we get, told off, and you're not supposed to do that, and why would you do that, and it's like we get reprimanded, we get in trouble, and they get the easy passed off because they're the sons, they're the boys and stuff like that. So it was like, growing up, I was always sheltered, so I couldn't go out. I couldn't go to my friend's house. My friends couldn't come to my house, so I was just like deluded in this world of like introvert, like just by myself. And that's when, like I said, when I got into high school, I started to become rebellious, as most teenagers do. When they get into high school, they start to become rebellious, but I felt like I had a justified reason of why I did so. As time go on, I think I was about like 16 when I dropped my last friend. Like, I haven't had a friend since I was 16. I dropped my last friend, and um, I just started just being by myself. And I feel like once I turned 18, started working and all of this other stuff, that's when, the lessons of life, really starting to come in, because, I started talking to people, I started dating, and stuff like that. So, especially in my young 20s, like from, I think, I want to say from like 20 to like probably 25, I was like dating queen, baby. I was like the dating queen. And that's when a lot of life lessons started to happen. I was going through so many life lessons with like finances, self-esteem. This is when I really started self-sabotaging. I remember one time I was in the house, and and I used to literally have, you know, employers call me for interviews or leave voice messages, and I would not return those messages. Like, I will always be like, well, they can leave a voice message. Like, I was self-sabotage myself with jobs all the time. Like, I would sit there and literally watch the phone ring, listen to the voice message, and not reply. I would sit there and schedule interviews and not go. not reschedule them, not nothing. I would just not go. Just completely self-sabotage myself because I didn't feel like going. I felt it was stupid. I felt like it was beneath me and all this other stuff. Like I didn't have the confidence, the courage to do it. I didn't feel like I was good enough for that thing. Like I would always self-sabotage myself when it came to these things, and I was sitting back like literally watching myself, like having an out-of-body experience of me sabotaging myself. So I went through this whole thing of, negative talk, like I wasn't good enough. Um, it started to show in like my finances and stuff like that. I was always just so negative and harsh and evil on myself, and I would always I would always say what I didn't have and manifested more of what I didn't have versus what I knew I could get. And I was that person that went into manifestation, but because I wasn't believing in myself, it wasn't coming to fruition. And I was just like, man, I'm manifesting this stuff and it's not happening and all of this other stuff. But I had so much heaviness on the inside of me that it was just so clogged up. It was like a clogged drain. I had so much heaviness within me that I couldn't see past through all the illusions and everything like that. And I was getting telltale signs, like spirit was sending me signs and synchronicities and all this other stuff. But because I was so deluded and so blocked off that I couldn't see it. Like I really just could not see anything. And I was like, what's happening? What's going on? Why is this happening? What's going on? And I would be so negative on myself that I would just manifest more and more and more negativity, more and more negativity. I was just like lazy. I didn't want to do anything. I felt like everything should just come to me. Why do I have to put the work into it? I'm always working. I'm always putting in the work to it and all this other stuff. Just beating my own self up, just beating me up. Like I said, I was, in and out of situations. This is where like relationships with me took a whole turn. I started to become very distant. And this is where I sort of kind of started, stepping into that player role, that manipulative role, the narcissistic role, and stuff like that without me even knowing that I was doing this, playing games, playing mind games, playing on people's feelings and stuff like that. And I didn't even know I was being a narcissist or manipulative to people because I was just, like I said, like I didn't know until one day. I think it was a couple of years ago. I ran into another guy, and he was doing the same thing. Like we would lead each other on and stuff like that. It was strictly like sexual relationship, like, but we would lead each other on and manipulate each other and be narcissists to each other. And I didn't understand that until I went through my awakening. And I was just sitting back like, and at those times I was just sitting back like, damn, like I gotta stop, leading him on and stuff like that. But I wasn't realizing that I was being narcissistic, that I was being manipulative. I was just like, damn, I gotta stop trying to be a player and stuff, trying to be in and out of people, Like I said, I started picking up those traits, so they started, mirroring me back. And I was just like, when he started mirroring me back, I was just like, what? I was like, huh? Like we were karmic to each other, and I didn't even know it. Like at the time we were karmic to each other. We would talk about relationships and how I wanted to see where it would go, and then I would tell him that I was coming over and I would never come, and then he would get in his feelings, and then it would come, and it was like basically if I was the male and he was the female. It was like we totally switched roles, and it was like, 'cause you know how normally some female chase and stuff like that, and it was like he was chasing me, he was hitting me up, where you at, come over. It's to the point where I worked at a job that was basically like a block over from where he lived, and he wanted me to transfer jobs to live with him. But then I had to look at it like, first of all, it's like you're not doing anything with yourself. You're not trying to get a job. You're not trying to better yourself. You don't have any food. And if I move in with you, I'm going to be the one taking care of you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be the one that's putting out all the money and you're sitting on your ass. And I was like, I will not do that. So I was like, no, I am not. But like I said, we became karmic to each other, narcissistic and manipulative to each other. And it was to the point where after I met my twin, after that whole situation, I had to sit back and look at and reflect on everything, and um, and all of that other stuff. And when I met him, that whole situation was crazy because he was literally like my like skin complexion, yeah, but like the whole type, my type was completely different from him. And, me being who I am, I can appreciate him being, him, the way he dressed and stuff like that. Like, I love the way he smelled. He always smelled good. Always kept himself up. Always, you know, um, or he just dressed differently. And at first I didn't understand it. I was just like, what is going on? But then I learned to appreciate it. And I learned to admire it and love it because it was like it was a part of him. So I was like, this is cute. It became cute to me. I was like, this is cute, and we had the best relationship ever. It was to the point where me and him used to go do our little squirrels, like our little, back and forth moment. People would literally stop at the job and just listen to us and be like, I love these two right here. Like, they knew when he and I was in the same area, like the energy there it was so damn high. It was so lit that it was like it made you look at us, like it made you take notice of who we were. Like, we were completely individuals. We had our own, our own thing about us, but when we were together, it was undeniable. Like, you could not, like, it was just different. So as time went on, I wanted to start a lot of things and stuff like that. And this is going back to the self-sabotage. Like, so many ideas as a creative and stuff like that. But still, when you are in an environment, when you are living with a narcissist, somebody who's always putting you down and stuff like that, when I started to, look into different, this was around like pandemic time and stuff like that. When I started to look into different avenues of, creating my own business and abundance and stuff for me, like, I had once again my stepfather come in and, shoot those dreams down because, like I said, I was still working on my self-esteem and my confidence and my worth and stuff like that. I wasn't in that. Like, I wasn't in that energy. I was in the energy of, I know I'm smart, like, I know I'm creative, I know that I can achieve things, but because I felt the need that I had to have that approval, or I had to have people behind me and backing me and helping me instead of being helpful to and for myself, I just kind of surpassed and let all of that just fall into the background because I felt like I needed other people to help me to get to where I wanted to be, right? I felt like I needed the approval of other people instead of just getting the approval of myself and doing, all the things that I wanted to do. So these were things that I was going through as I was going through my journey and my awakenings and stuff like that. So, and it was pretty taxing because I went out and I started to look at everything that I have asked. Like, I would get so excited about something that I would go and buy little things for it, but never finish it. And then that came from my mother. My mother would go and start things and then never finish it. So I had to look back and be like, whoa, I'm embodying that energy. I can't allow that to happen. So if you are that type of person, and you're going through the same thing, I want you to pull out everything that you bought, everything that you have asked, and look at it and really just analyze yourself and say, where could I have been if I just stuck to this shit right here? Like, so many ideas, so many creations. You are a creative soul, so you need to acknowledge those things about yourself first and foremost. And I had to look at that because I was just like, damn, like I have all this stuff and I haven't budged on it and stuff like that. So you have to take accountability for your actions and over your life. And even when it comes to people being narcissistic and manipulative in your life, you have to take accountability for your actions and what you've allowed. You've allowed these people to tell you you wasn't good enough. You allow these people, especially as adults and stuff like that. You allow people to tell you you're not good enough, that your business is not going to thrive, and all these other things. And you allow people to beat you down and to keep you down instead of you building yourself up. And I remember when I wanted to start my business, I remember, my stepfather said that to me. He was just like, "You think people are going to buy your stuff? Like, you really think people are going to be into that? You really think you could do it? Like, that's dumb." And that right there was like a trigger moment for me because it made me stop what I was doing and not finish it because that started to put the doubt into my mind. So when you are going through your transformations and your healings and your growing and stuff like that, of course you're going to have those people that's in your life that wants you to stay in that energy. They want you to stay in that lower vibration, but you have to have the energy and the strength to say no. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm stronger than that. I'm better than that. I know my worth. I know what I deserve. I love myself, and this is what I'm going to do. Um, and like I said, as my journey started going on, I've allowed myself to be sidetracked and to self sabotage so many great opportunities for myself. To doing other things, so caught up in so many other things that didn't serve any purpose to my life, that wasn't helping financially, that wasn't helping me, really get to where I wanted to be. And I had to pretty much take a step back and say, this is not what I want. Like, this is like, I know I am worth more than that. Like, I know I'm worth more than that. How can I get to that level of what I know I deserve and be in that flow? And it was like, it all starts with you, right? So I had to stop my self sabotaging ways and me holding on to so many things that didn't serve me. Me holding on to people, me holding on to places. I used to be the one that would hold on to a job. And even though I hated the job and the job didn't do anything for me, I wasn't happy or nothing. But because I had friends there and, going there to see them was cool because it took my mind off a lot of things. It was like I was so unhappy in that spot, but I held on to it until God just was like, "No, I'm taking it away. You're not getting it. Everything is going to happen. You're going to run into problems with your managers. You're going to run into problems with your coworkers. Nobody's going to do this. You're going to wind up just leaving." And then that would happen. That it was like, either you're going to leave or you're going to get fired. Which one you want to do? And now it's to the point where it's like, if I'm not happy, I'm looking for the next best thing, because it's like, this isn't making me happy, so let me go where my happiness flows and stuff like that. And I was to be going from job to job to job, and then I'm just like, why am I going from job to job to job? Like, I need to create something that's just specifically for me, that I can be proud of, that, and all this other stuff. So it's like, that's the energy that I could probably say that I am in. Just figuring out, what can I create for me that's going to allow me to be the best me. Like, I don't want to work for the rest of this year. I don't want to work in 2023 for another person and stuff like that. For a corporation. Like, I want to work. I want to be self-employed. So it's like, what can I do? What can I create that's going to allow me to be self-employed? But that's where you have to take into consideration, all the oppositions that will be against you, and you have to be like, what, bring it on. Because I know at the end of the day, I'm still going to thrive. I know at the end of the day, I know my abilities. I know my worth. I know my talent. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of, and all this other thing. But it starts with the worthiness, the self-worth, and the confidence, and knowing that you deserve it and everything on your half. And not only knowing it, but feeling it and putting in the work behind it. All things in manifestation, a lot of us we manifest what we want, but we don't put in the effort to bring it to fruition. That's like wanting to start a business, but you don't even have anything to start a business. Like, you don't have a name for your company. You don't have any type of idea of what you want to do. You just want stuff, right? It's like, no, you just want people to just give it to you. You just want the universe to say, here you go. Here goes a YouTube with already 100,000 subscribers, and you don't really have to put no work into it, because we're just going to continue to send these people to you and run your subscribers up and run your views up, and you're going to get all this money. And it's like, no, you got to put in time and effort into creating that YouTube. What is your YouTube going to be for? What is it going to be about? When are you going to upload? Like you have to put into so much, like, who's your target audience? If you're going to, like, what are you going to do? And that's the beauty of life. It's like figuring out, what are you going to do? So it's healing that self-sabotage. It's saying, I know I'm worthy of all of this. Like I said, it could be in relationships, self-sabotage. It don't have to just be just with yourself, which is mainly the main thing. It's all about deserving, knowing what you deserve. Being in a relationship with somebody that's narcissistic, manipulative, abusive, very flighty, very in and out and stuff like that. You have to take accountability for yourself, take accountability on your half, because you've allowed this to happen. You stayed in the situation. You enabled it. While they were sitting there crying like, oh my goodness, you're going to leave me. And it should have been like, yeah, because you don't deserve me. Like, I'm too good of a person for you. And that's what it all boils down to. It's like, I'm too good of a person to continuously allow myself to be dragged through the mud. This could, like I said, this can apply to any aspect in your life. The worst person you could be toxic to is yourself, because you have to live with that day in and day out. Other people can come and go. Toxic people, they can be toxic to you for a week and then leave. But you have to stay with yourself. You can't separate yourself. You have to literally stay with yourself. So you have to heal that within yourself. And you have to know that this is not what I want. And sometimes you have to go through bullshit to understand what you want. Sometimes God can put what you deserve in your face. God can put the opportunity right in your face and say, this is the path. And you still will go, I don't think so. And then you go elsewhere, and then you have to sit on your ass, because now you got to learn a lesson. Now he got to teach you a whole nother lesson. But maybe that's a part of your path, to learn that lesson. Maybe it was a part of your path to go, I'm going to go elsewhere. Because at that moment, you did not deserve that opportunity, that person, or that place. You didn't. You had to go through some lessons. You had to learn some lessons to say, you know what, this is what I deserve. It wasn't right at that moment, but it's right in this moment. If you're on, like I said, you're on the twin flame journey and your person is not there, or y'all going through, it's okay to say, you know what, this is not what I deserve. If God wants this person to be in my life, if it's meant for this person to be in my life, they will be in my life. But right now, I need to go elsewhere. I need to go elsewhere. And I feel like that's what you need to do just within your life in general. Like, if you're in a living environment, you got roommates, or you living with family or friends or whatever, and it's not working out, I need to go elsewhere. I need to look for something else. Like me, growing up, I was always told what I couldn't do. I was never told what I could do. So when you grow up in that energy of everything that's lack mentality, people in lack mindset all around you, that's all you know. You know the struggle. All you know is the struggle. All you know is, I gotta fight for it. I gotta figure out a way to get it. But when you grow up with, when you reprogram your mind and you eliminate the lack and say, no, that's what I deserve. So that's what I want, but better. I want a house on the hills, but I want the most amazing house on the hills. Like, I want this house on the hills to blow my mind. It's like you have to leave room for the universe to be able to surprise you. And that's coming from a person who don't really like surprises. Hey, but I'm getting into that energy of learning to love surprises. Surprise me. Show me. Blow my mind. Give me what I wanted times a million. So that's basically how you heal your self-sabotaging energy. Like, you have to heal it from within yourself. You have to know that you are worthy of everything, and that you have to put the time, the effort, the energy, and everything behind it to get where you want to be. Because other people, they're going to knock you down, because that's a part of their mission. Their mission is to knock you down. Your mission is to build you back up. But you have to know your own self-worth. You have to know, I deserve this job. I deserve this promotion. And if y'all don't see my worth here, then I'm going elsewhere. I'm leaving, because I'm not going to stay here at this job and penny pinch and y'all laughing in my face, and y'all have all these open positions, but y'all giving it to everybody else but me. But y'all want me to do the work of somebody in this position. No, I'm not doing that. Stand your ground. Say what you mean and mean what you say. When you see other people in their alignment and they're getting the things that they want, that's your time to take a step back and go, whoa, they're in alignment with what the hell they want. What's blocking me from getting in alignment with what I want? Let me take a step back and and evaluate myself. Let me take a step back and look at my blockage. Look at the areas that I'm blocked in. Where am I blocked at that I'm not aligning to my to what I want to attract? Like, what's going on with me? Take a step back and look at you. Don't look at other people, because they're doing whatever they have to do to get what they to attract what they are attracting. Pull yourself back and say, what am I doing that's blocking me or holding me back from getting to where I want to be in this life? Self-sabotage is it's exactly that. Self-sabotaging yourself from any and everything. But you are strong, you are worthy, you are worth it. You are bigger than anybody that tells you no, that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you all your ideas are stupid, that tells you you're not creative, that tells you, that talks about your looks, that always trying to put you down. You are bigger and stronger than that. And you have to understand, you have to know that it is what it is. And sometimes people are just naturally miserable ass people. And you have to allow them to be them and you be you. You have to say, you know what? That's just who you are. You're a naturally miserable asshole. And nobody can do anything but you. Nobody can change that but you. I'm not trying to change you. That's not a part of my that's not my thing. Okay? So this is just what I wanted to go on to say, and hopefully this helps, somebody out there to really realign themselves and to really change their mindset and reprogram themselves to believing that they can have and that they deserve everything that their hearts desire. But know that you have to heal things within yourself, and you have to fix you and clear up that residue within, and really do some self-work and some self-healing and some self-love and care on yourself to understand that you deserve everything in the world that your heart desire. But if you don't believe it and you have blockages and so much toxicity and negativity surrounding you and your energy and your heart and stuff like that, and you're out of alignment and you're so whacked off and so much negativity, you're going to block everything. But the moment you start to heal and you start to say, you know what, I'm going to let this go and all this other stuff, and you really start to just take a step back and worry and focus on you, you will see everything change so drastically. Like, I've literally went on a whole diet for like 3 months and manifested a job with the that I was making the amount of money, but the I wasn't as specific. So I was manifesting that job, but I was doing so much more work to get that money that I was manifesting. So you have to be very clear, very precise, very focused and direct on what you want and how you and what you want, and then allow the universe to make room for that to come in times 1,000,000% better than what you could ever imagine. Okay, so I want to thank you all for taking this time to listen to this. Hope this helped y'all. Y'all got some nuggets out of this and stuff like that. Be sure, like I said, to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch y'all later.